today we are going to read a book by one of my favorite authors. His name is Tommy DePola. He wrote a book about himself as an artist, as a little boy, and he is one of my favorite illustrators and authors. He illustrates his own books. And this story is about a little girl from a Native American tribe called the Comanche tribe. Now, we've been talking about Native American groups. This Native American group is from Texas, where my little sister lives, and about the legend of the blue bonnet, okay? In this story, a little girl has a flower, the state flower of Texas, come to life when a Comanche girl makes a great sacrifice to save her people. Okay? All right. Great spirits, the land is dying. Your people are dying too. The long line of dancers sang, tell us what we have done to anger you. End this drought. Save your people. Tell us what we must do so you will send the rain that will bring back life. Oh, look at that heat. And there's no rain, is there? For 3 days, the dancers danced to the sound of the drums, and for 3 days, the people called Comanche watched and waited. And even though the hard winter was over, no healing rains came. I love that he said healing rains. Not just rain, but rain that's gonna heal themselves from their heat and their exhaustion, heal the wildlife. They need water. The plants. Oh, I'm getting thirsty just thinking of it. Drought and famine are hardest on the very young and the very old. Among the few children left was a small girl named She Who Was Alone. That's her name, She Who Was Alone. She sat by herself watching the dancers. In her lap was a doll made from buckskin, a warrior doll. The eyes, nose, and mouth were painted on with the juice of berries. It wore beaded leggings and a belt of polished bone. On its head were brilliant blue feathers from the bird whose cry, Jay, Jay, Jay. She loved her doll very, very much. I'm going to stop us right here, and I want you to tell your partner, your elbow partner, why the drought was very hard for the young and for the old. Tell me why. For the young and for the old. Zeta, you tell me why. Why do you need water not to
So you got the same thing.
How do you feel when you have it? Why do you think it's especially hard to do? Because they're already for the very young. Back to me. Back to me. Back to crisscross looking at me. Loves the conversations taking place. Who can tell me what their partner said about why it was especially hard for the very young? Why is a drought very hard for the very young? Like the itty bitties. Why is this especially hard for them? Jose?
Because little babies need to be hydrated and they need to be healthy. Without any water, their body won't be hydrated.
And they won't grow with it. Can a baby tell you, hey, I'm thirsty?
No.
It's gotta be hard. Also, who can tell me why it was hard especially for the very old. Maddie?
Because they're getting old, and if they didn't get it hydrated, then they would die soon.
Yeah, they're already weak. They're already got maybe diseases. They're feeble. Their bones are already very feeble. Very good. Very, very, very good. Okay. Soon, she who was alone said to her doll, the shaman. Ooh, remember that name? Will go off alone to the top of the hill to listen for the words of the great spirits. Then we will know what to do so that once more the rains will come and the earth will be green and alive. The buffalo will be plentiful and the people will be rich again. You're hearing a lot of things that we talked about with Native Americans, aren't you?
Yes.
As she talked, she thought of the mother who made the doll, of the father who brought the blue feathers. She thought of her grandfather and the grandmother she had never known. They were all like shadows. It seemed long ago that they had died from the famine. The people had named her and cared for her. The warrior doll was the only thing she had left from those distant days. Tell me what the shaman is going to do from what you know from Native Americans. I'm going to wait for you to tell me. I want you to tell your partner first. What is a shaman?
A shaman is the person who makes the medicine and helping other people, and he goes to the mountain, tells the spirits might let it rain.
Explain what? Back to me. Who remembers what a shaman is? Eric?
A medicine man.
A medicine man or a Ethan?
Spiritual leader.
Spiritual leader. And what is he going to ask those spirits to bring to him, Gabby?
Food and water.
I need water. I need water. Remember, they're going to listen to him because he is
The spiritual leader.
the leader of these spirits. He's going to ask them, right? He is the leader. I also see a couple things. And also, the buffalo will be plentiful again. Buffalo, teepees. What Native American group is this, everybody?
The
Plains. Very good. The sun is setting, the runner called as he ran through the camp. The shaman is returning. The people gathered in a circle and the shaman spoke. I have heard the words of the great spirits, he said. The people have become selfish. For years they have taken from the earth. So they're taking all these things from the earth. They're taking grass, plants, water, everything from the earth. They're being selfish. And they're not giving anything back. The great spirits say that the people must sacrifice. We must make a burnt offering of the most valued possessions among us. The things that mean the most to us. We have to give them to the earth. We have to sacrifice them. The ashes of this offering shall be scattered to the four points of the earth, the home of the winds. When this sacrifice is made, drought and famine will cease. Life will be restored to the earth and to the people. So they're going to have to give up the things that mean the most to them, burn them, give them to the earth, and then they're going to be able to have water and food again. Oh, you think so?
Yeah. No.
I wonder what our little girl is going to give, the she who is alone. I wonder what's most important to her.
The dog.
The people sang a song of thanks to the great spirits for telling them Now we know what we must do. Thank you for telling us what we must do in order to end this. I'm sure it's not my new bow, the great spirits want, a warrior said. So, of course it can't be his new bow and arrow that he spent so much money on. They don't need that. Ooh, or my special blanket, a woman added. They don't need that. Everyone went to their teepees to talk and think over what the great spirits have asked of them. So they're not wanting to give away their most important things. Everyone, that is, except
The little girl.
she who was alone. She held her doll tightly to her heart. You, she said, looking at the doll, you are my most valued possession. It's you that the great spirits want. And she knew what she must do. As the council fires died out and the teepee flags began to close, the small girl returned to the teepee where she slept, where she waited. The night outside was still, except for the distant sound of the night bird with the red wings. Soon everyone in the teepee was asleep, except she who must not be named, or she who was alone. Under the ashes of the teepee fire, one stick still glowed. She took it and quietly crept out into it. She ran to the place on the hill where the giant spirits had spoken to the shaman. Stars filled the sky, but there was no moon. Oh, great spirits, she who was alone said, here is my warrior doll. It is the only thing I have for my family who has died in this famine. It is my most valued possession. Please accept it. And look at her sacrificing it. She's lifting it up to the spirits. Do you see her? I can think of some amazing character traits about this girl. Then, gathering twigs, she started a fire with the glowing fire stick. The small girl watched. As the twigs began to catch and burn, she thought of her grandmother and her grandfather, her mother and father, and all the people, their suffering, their hunger. And before she could change her mind, she thrust the doll into the fire. Pretty selfless, meaning she cared more about other people than herself, right? She watched until the flames died down, took the ashes that had grown cold. Then, scooping up a handful, she who was alone scattered the ashes to the home of the winds, the north, the east, the south, and the west. And there she fell asleep until the first light of the morning sun woke her up. She looked out over the hill, and stretching out from all sides, where the ashes had fallen, the ground was covered with flowers. Beautiful. As blue as the feathers in the hair of the doll, as blue as the feathers of the bird who cries, Jay, Jay, Jay. When the people came out of their teepees, they could scarcely believe their eyes. They gathered on the hill with she who was alone to look at the miraculous sight. There was no doubt about it. The flowers were a sign of forgiveness from the great spirits. And as the people sang and danced their thanks to the great spirits, a warm rain began to fall, and the land began to live again. From that day on, the little girl was known by another name, one who dearly loved her people. And every spring, the great spirits remember the sacrifice of the little girl and fills the hills. The great spirits remember the sacrifice of a little girl and fill the hills and valley of the land now called Texas with beautiful blue flowers.